Congratulations, Daddy. Oh, you must be so proud. A 198-pound bouncing baby adult Negro. Boy, they grow up so fast.
It's about to make a change. Do it with some soul in a little make a change. Yeah, it's about to make a change. Do it with some soul in a little make a change. You can't make a change unless you got the love change. Do it with some soul in a little make a change. You can't make a change unless you got some make a change. Do it with some soul in a little make a change. We started from the bottom talking about the roots.
What's up, little chitlins? Welcome back to the Boondocks Podcast. Today we're discussing Season 3, Episode 10, The Story of Lando Freeman, in which there's a new handyman in the neighborhood undercutting Uncle Ruckus, which is all good for Granddad in his garden until the man claims to be his long-lost son, Lando. Will Granddad take responsibility and be a father to his child? But first, how y'all?
Hi. I'm back in drizzly, dreary Seattle from beautiful Hawaii, which, by the way, when it rains there, it's really fucking weird.
It's beautiful, though. There's usually so many rainbows after.
Oh, man. Like, we literally could watch the storms roll in and then, like, roll out. Like, you could see the demarcation point.
Amazing.
It was so weird.
Did you guys get well, I know here we got pounded. It literally rained for 27 hours straight.
Pounded in the second best way.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
That sounds like the beginning of a Chuck Tingle novel.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Welcome to the Boondocks Podcast.
Yeah, if I was getting pounded for 27 hours, I would not.
I mean, yeah, that would hurt a little bit.
Bitch.
It was bad here. Like, I don't know how long it lasted. We had like really terrible rain. That wasn't the night I got back. It was the night, or was that Saturday night? Jesus, today's so yeah, I've lost all meaning of time. I got back, I took the red eye out of Hawaii at like on Friday night, so I got back on Saturday morning.
Yeah, there was a big storm last night that hit during the game.
But that was the second half of the storm.
Yeah, but
we didn't even get it yesterday.
And then I know that it also
night,
hit at the 49ers game. Was hit pretty bad. That was the Sunday night game, I think.
Yeah, so Sunday night and Monday night we were just a little behind, I think, then like half a day.
It started here at 11 o'clock.
It was big.
And it kept going until 11 o'clock Saturday. Yeah. Yeah. And then it went to, Monday morning. Like, hubby was putting on his shirt to get ready to go, to work. And he was like, I don't understand why we don't have rainy day, snow day. And I was like, I agree.
Yeah.
Because it was bad. It was bad. Like, he was going to walk across the street. And I was like, I think you should drive. He's on, babe, I'm going to walk across the street. I was like, it's so rainy. He's like, I'm not going to drive. But yeah.
You would have.
And I'm not prepared for it. I didn't ask for it. We are used to our Indian summers. Like, I am used to pulling out something that looks like a coat. I'm not a big coat wearer, but, close to Thanksgiving. No. Not this year. El Nino was full of that.
The last few years, actually, in my Facebook memories, apparently in the last few years, it started freezing around this time of the year in Seattle. Like, I think it was a false one, though, like a false winter, because then it would like warm up again for a little bit and then freeze again. But like around now is when the false cold really starts to.
We can't really tell because we don't have a change in like, the leaves and colors like, other parts of the country where they actually see, the change between the weather now in the seasons. And don't get me wrong, I don't want it. Why I live in California. So universe don't start, getting us going to fall in like August.
I mean, I don't know. Fall is gorgeous here. I will absolutely say that. Even with the rain and the windstorms and, all of the shit, like we've got oak trees everywhere. So you've got those color changing from, green to that reddish brown and everything in between. And that's just so fucking pretty.
Yeah, we don't get that. All of a sudden one day we're like, oh, wait, there's no more leaves on the trees. Like literally.
They
like
go,
yeah. Unless you go up to Apple Hill, which is such a Wahite thing.
A what thing?
Wahite.
Oh, yeah. I got it the second time.
Wahite. Yes.
I like that. I like that better. I say YP. Why people?
I call her my sister, but she calls him. She says beige.
Mm-hmm.
She said the beige people. I was like,
They're pink.
We can do that because
Right. I like that.
We
can talk about the pink people.
Yeah, so borderline. Y'all.
We can talk about the pink people too.
Hey, we talk about the brown people. We were watching Judge Mathis earlier. I was like, babe, if you do not get your people, please tell your cousins to get off of Judge Mathis. Yeah, we do that, and we do it to our Australian friend who is clearly white, and we tell him all the time. We'll be like, "Get your people." He goes, "Wait, so it's white people and black people my people?" We're like, "Yeah, yep, your people, not mine."
Sure,
that's how it goes. But yeah, it's I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Like I feel like we just got into 2021 and 2022.
Yeah, our closing date on our house is December 15th, 2021. So yeah,
wow.
We are closing out the year in a new house.
Yes. We're going to manifest an awesome one for you. We're going to manifest the right awesome house. We're going to manifest an easy.
Yes. Like we're literally like if you are out there and you are listening and you are in Portland and you have a 4-bedroom, 2-bedroom or 2-bath house, especially if it has a wraparound porch and maybe a nice yard. We're looking right now. And we put some money down on it. Give you a deal. Close on the same day.
Let's make it happen.
Put it out to the universe, right?
Yep.
My mom says.
Manifest it.
Maybe. We'll see. I'm not good. I'm not good at being optimistic enough to manifest things in my life.
We'll do it for you. I hope.
I appreciate it. Definitely. I'm sure Dean will too, because then he'll be able to move without caring. As long as you get the kitchen of your dreams, right, baby?
As long as I can fit more than myself in the kitchen.
Right. As long as you get the kitchen of your dreams. Bigger than the one we have now is the kitchen of your dreams.
Yeah, we went from our last place to this place, like a huge kitchen that was like open concept to kind of a galley. Yeah. And I'm like, when we are all down there, I'm like, you guys gotta move. We can't. This is not yeah.
Ours is a weird
I'm happy that we have one. There's people whose kitchen's outside next to the freeway right now. So very happy. But yeah, I cannot wait to till we start designing our modular home, because I definitely want a farmhouse kitchen. Both jobs.
You want
all day.
Big old farmhouse kitchen.
Mm-hmm. I realized in looking that's what kind of like designed. Like, I never thought I would, but I'm like,
he wants like a chef's kitchen, really.
Yeah.
Big, open, but also like, I don't know what you call it. It had the island with the thing and the oven and the yeah. I don't know. It's all stuff that I don't know. I don't. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like I care about other parts of the house, and he cares about the kitchen. So
all I want is the kitchen, and I haven't had a big soaking in bathtub since we left our last place. What is it called? Clawfoot.
Oh, you don't like the claw?
I hate those tubs. Every one I say we're gonna rip that out. That's going.
So if we buy one with a claw tub, we'll rip it out and hold it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate it. You're like, it's in the yard. When you come visit, you can go ahead and take it back and all you want.
We took 3 clawfoot tubs out of here. Come grab one.
That's true. We did take one out of here, but no, it wasn't a clawfoot. No, it was just heavy as fuck. Lead line? No, that's not right.
It reminds me of just like I don't know. I think it reminds me of like an 80s movie or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like the kitchen in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That would be like Dean's dream, I think. somewhere where, you could sit down and eat if you wanted to while cooking was happening, or you can sit somewhere nearby, so you can visit with people in that room, have a house party or invite family over for Christmas one day when he's grandpa and be able to cook a big Thanksgiving dinner or something and still be a part of everything.
Cut off from everything.
Yeah.
I
get it. And it makes me excited because it means that I get to have big family dinners again when
when we're back to norm.
Well, and in the future, because my almost 22-year-old stepdaughter does not need to have any babies anytime soon, and my 18-year-old stepson does not need to be having any babies anytime soon. So not soon.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I met Jay. Oh, it was my son's birthday yesterday. He's 24. Happy birthday to my baby.
Happy birthday.
When we were down in LA last week, I met him. Well, I already knew him, but he came and met us with his girlfriend. And it was my first time meeting her. And she was so nervous. She's like, people's moms haven't liked me before. And I immediately picked up on her energy. I think she's, sweet. I know he loves her. She dotes on him. And I was like, look, let me tell you, I'm cool. Okay. So I was like, ask him. He can tell you what are the things that would make me not like you. And I was like, and I do so far. She was so nervous. It was so funny. And they got there when our best friends from college, hubby's frat brother, they got there first, and they were talking to him, and they all scared her. I call him my little bro, Jaw. He was like, "Oh, you haven't met Tiffany yet? Oh, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Why are you scaring that girl like that?" He's like, "You're mean to everybody." I was like, "No, I was mean to girls that you guys messed with." Completely different. Yeah. Then that night got into a whole discussion with all the brothers about how much of a hater I was. And I was like, I wasn't a hater. I just didn't like the bitches you guys tried to have around.
No one was good enough for your boys.
I get it. And that. I'm like, just because I was people.
Her friends were good enough.
Yeah.
It was just the ones that weren't like the ones that she brought around.
Well, they were annoying. And I just... don't try to be my friend because you know that I'm cool with all the brothers. If you want to fuck a brother, fuck a brother. I have nothing to do with
it. Don't be nice to me just because you think it's going to ingratiate me to something. I don't like fakeness. That's bullshit.
I can't stand that. And then I'm also seeing how much of a, okay, I don't want to slut shame, but they were being whores. So I'm sorry that I was able to peep that you were.
I don't want to slut shame as I proceed to slut shame.
Right. Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't say it.
It was different. I've been a whore. I've had my fun too. But they were messy.
I have no problem with sluts. Be as slutty as you want to. Everybody out there, be slutty. Nothing wrong with it. Or be not slutty if that's your thing. Just do your thing. Don't worry about it. Because nobody fucking cares. And if someone calls you a bad word,
just be honest.
Yeah. Honest.
Look.
Honesty and consent.
I can definitely point out times in my life that I was probably like, ooh. But I own that. And I know I am now. But like I said, I wasn't a sloppy, freaking silly one either. You can't be sloppy, silly, slutty. You can't be all three.
3 S's.
And so very sweet.
Well, and we had deltas. How man?
When all those spells tried Del.
Yeah. They fit.
For you.
They fit it. I don't know if you guys know about Tridel, but yeah. So any 80s movies, any movie where there's deltas, like I said,
wasn't that Revenge of the Nerds?
Was that one?
Yeah. Yes. But then there was delta. They couldn't use their same names, but the
Lambda
Jefferson
was the nerd
from,
one.
What you call it? His girlfriend was supposed to be like a Tridel, the one who was in the moon room. Yeah, Alpha Phi will try anything. I mean, I could not have a daughter and then send her to college and then be like, go ahead and go through the process of any of these 7 sororities where they're all known to be very sexually liberated.
There's nothing wrong with being sexually liberated, but preying on incoming freshmen is a gross thing that absolutely happens at every fucking year.
Yeah.
Fucking
Well,
just gross.
Fresh meat, for sure.
So gross.
Speaking of praying on,
And usually men you gross.
Have you seen that African dude with the Tesla that says that he feels for R. Kelly, and then proceeds to tell on himself how he has had sexual encounters with minors and girls in high school?
What?
Oh, yeah.
And then blames it on their parents.
Yes.
What?
Yes, you guys have to see it. Like, he literally made a video and was like, I can understand R. Kelly, and let me tell you why. And then proceeds to talk about how he would put out Craigslist ads, and then all the responses that he would get would be from young girls. And he proceeded to be like, but I didn't talk to him. And then in the same breath is like, well, there was this one who was 17 and she had the perkiest tits, and then proceeded to tell on himself, but then was like, there's no statute.
He says that he would go check their Facebook or their social media, and if they had a whole bunch of pictures with their parents and their family, then he wouldn't talk to them. But if they had pictures by themselves and their friends, then that means their parents weren't that involved, so it would be okay.
Yes.
We were like,
It'd be okay.
you're the definition of a predator,
Yeah,
right? You're
right?
literally trying to
Oh my
find
God.
people to prey on.
And so he's gone viral, and his biggest thing is, it's not going to go viral. It only has 5,000 views. And we're like, wait, what are you doing this for? But another podcaster picked up on it and had him on. And this podcaster is part of like the manosphere. And I'm like, man, we're going to teach you how to be men and blah, 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 blah. And they're roasting this dude. Like, one dude, like, you're all cap. You are ridiculous. I have a daughter. Like, what are you talking about? And he tried to flip it and go, it was a social media experiment. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to see. And we're like, oh my God, dude. Like, it's really sad what people will do. And he's a grown ass man. Like, grown ass man. He should have like an IRA that's almost completed. Like, old as fuck. Like, he maybe get an AARP like sent to him pretty soon. But he's
like me.
He's still going for clout. He's going for clout, and you're telling on yourself for messing with minors on YouTube, and then going on other people's platforms to then talk about it. And yeah, it's amazing. I don't know. And then did you guys hear about the godfather who's 60 who married his 18-year-old goddaughter? Oh, sorry.
I saw that one. But
Did you see that one?
I didn't watch, though. I just saw it on my YouTube feed and was
I'm
like,
going to need you to watch it, because she there is no way. She is so dumb and 18 and already has a child. And I was like, oh God, don't bring another one.
I'm sorry, but if she was your goddaughter before she was 18, that means that you were looking at your goddaughter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And oh my God, Lindsay, if you will go. And I don't like. Part of me is like, are they doing this once again for clout? Because there's videos where the mom's arguing and telling all of it, and then the daughter and the I guess I call him husband, are doing another video calling her a crackhead, and just it. First of all, my people, I thought we didn't put our business in the street. First of all, but they putting it all out there. They putting it in the street, in the universe, on the other planets. Like, they are just putting it out there. So once again, I mean, that's just two examples of how we've seen in the last not even week, where people are just really wanting attention, and they're doing things that are very detrimental, and can be, even more detrimental to their lifestyles and their loved ones. But it's okay, because they get a couple clicks. They go on IG Live, which I wish people would stay the hell off IG Live. God, if you were born before 85, 90, stay off of IG Live. Like, legit, stop it.
I don't do anything live.
Unless it's for a business or something. Like, unless you're doing a business in your stream. Like, other than that, stay your ass off there. Nobody cares that you are having steak dinner. Like, nobody cares. But yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, we did say the other night, like, oh, we gotta talk about this. Yeah. Very sad. Makes me so happy I don't have a daughter. Oh.
I mean, I think for, I mean, she's not it's a very independent young woman, and I fully believe that she is aware of all of that shit enough to not get sucked into it too much, I guess would be a good way to put it. But also, like, and this is where I feel like I'm an old lady, because I don't understand the point of so much of that bullshit. Like, anything for clout, like, or like, you know, influencers or all of that. None of that makes fucking sense to me. And I know that that is a big part of just stuff now. So I just accept it that I'm old and crotchety and I don't know shit about it.
I mean, it's not on all platforms though. You have to, like, I will say that TikTok is definitely less mean, less toxic, because you have a lot of people that are doing, you know, hacks and showing you how to, you know, make cheesy ramen, and you know,
it's got some really terrible shit. Like, I don't know.
It does.
Have you been watching?
I just don't think it's as prevalent as, like, you go on Twitter and you go down your timeline.
Have you been watching the news lately with all of the stuff that's come out, like social media company executives, like testifying to Congress? Yeah. Like, there are different things. There was the one thing about Facebook about a newly created account like made its way to right-wing media within 2 days. It was kind of the same thing on TikTok. Like, people have done experiments, and it doesn't matter if you don't need to outright say white supremacy or racism or anything like that. But if you are just even slightly right-wing, you are going to find your way to Nazi propaganda and all of that shit on TikTok. So it's all fucking toxic.
Too readily available.
Yeah.
We make sure, like, my youngest one, you know, that boy is definitely going to create an app or do something. Like, he's just so well versed. But we have to make sure, you know, when he's on TikTok, and I was like, you can create a TikTok, but I don't want to see you watching anything but, you know, your anime guys or your gamer or whatever. You know, he doesn't even like do any of the dances and stuff. That's what I was all juiced about when I first started, you know, on TikTok. I was like, all right, babe, which one are we going to do? He's all, none.
That was the reason I didn't do it at first. I'm like, is it all just dancing? I can't dance.
He's like, I'm not doing that. And the one time I called him, he was working, and the sound was, who that is? That's just my baby daddy. And I hate that normally. I hate when people say my baby daddy, but I was trying to get him, and he wouldn't. So I had to sneak it down.
And she still didn't get me. I think it's unfortunate that people will keep using the First Amendment and free speech to say whatever they want to on social media. That's kind of where it's now become messed up, is because people are so empowered because they're commenting from behind a computer screen and not actually face to face with somebody, that they'll say whatever. And then you have educationally challenged people who then come across these things and decide to regurgitate them, but out in public in front of other people, and then you think it's okay. It's like, people, what are we talking about? Like, just because you have free speech, you should still know the difference between right and wrong. There is a such thing as hate speech. You shouldn't be saying anything hateful. And at some point, can y'all start to think for yourself and stop,
like, that's what you learned in kindergarten and preschool. I feel like, you know, I believe that there are, you know, there's alternate life forms, aliens, and I think they are looking at us like they are not ready for us. These fools are idiots.
Yeah, if there are,
like, I think they probably just shake their head.
Terrestrial intelligence, they definitely think we're.
Yeah, they're just they're not ready for us.
I heard a joke that we are the planet that aliens lock their doors when they fly by.
Yeah, like legit. Like, it's like when you're in college, when your kid goes, "Oh, I'm going here for spring break," and it's like, "No, you're not." You're like, "No, the hell, you are not going to Earth."
Like Tijuana.
Guys hear that it's come out that a lot of the people that coordinated what happened on January 6th actually met with senators and people beforehand to coordinate it, and they actually talked about it and
told them.
There's like a list of people now that are, you know, they're supposed to be investigated for.
Yeah, Josh Hawley, Madison Cawthorn, MTG, and Boebert. I know we're all involved.
That weird lady who says a bunch of weird stuff.
Every time you say MTG, I think Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
I know, it's Marjorie
Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, she's the blonde one.
Crazy.
She and Boebert are both fucking.
They're both crazy.
Absolutely fucking Q nuts.
I hate using the word crazy because I try really hard not to use terms that could be
but they are
clinical.
like that.
But there is something. There is a
something.
disconnect with reality for sure.
Huge.
And
Like,
we just saw that. I guess I didn't follow QAnon before, but I guess whoever Q is, he hasn't actually even made a statement or like a proclamation in over a year, but these people are still just following him.
Mm-hmm.
They're still following whatever he said over a year ago.
And stuff that he said would come out, a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever. There's nothing. There's nothing.
What trips me out is evangelical pastors.
That doesn't trip me out. They just want the money.
Love my Vice News, but they are some of the most staunch believers in all this shit. Like,
they're not believers. No, those are people who know they can make a fucking buck.
They believe in the QAnon stuff.
Yeah,
I don't even believe that the evangelical pastors actually believe it. I think they just use the rhetoric.
This one guy, okay, I'm gonna give it to you because his congregation went from like 150 to 1,500.
That's why.
Since he's been like
bringing in more people. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And since he's been talking about, the eating babies. I don't understand why you guys would believe that anybody's eating children. Come on. But yeah,
because it's easier to believe that than believe that their own views are wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and go, the way I'm thinking makes sense. Yep. I'm good.
It doesn't matter that my kids don't talk to me anymore and my grandkids don't talk to me anymore and people look at me like I'm fucking crazy and people call me names online. Everyone else is what's wrong. Everyone else is crazy.
There's full compilations. We watched last week like 2 hours of Karen freakouts. Oh my gosh. You women. Good. There was one lady who laid down in Victoria's Secret. Laid down. Yeah. After she went after a black woman and hit her. Then oh my God.
Yeah,
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the hardcore right wing pastor that I've seen a lot is Greg Locke.
Might be
him.
That guy. That's the one who tried to blow it away.
Him. That's Kenneth Copeland. He's like 90 years old.
Greg
Locke. He was like at Sturgis. He wears a gun on his holster. Yeah,
he's Merkin. Okay, so he could believe that.
Yeah, Greg Locke.
The ones that are actual evangelical preachers who have been doing it for a really long time, I don't believe that they honestly believe that any of that shit is happening, but I believe that they know they can make money doing it.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, when you're somewhere like Atlanta, I remember we went there and we were like, wait a minute. So all you guys have are gun stores and churches right next to each other.
Yeah.
Like right next to each other. So yeah. It's crazy. It's yeah.
Last little bit of YouTube. Do you guys know what Let's Go Brandon stands for?
What does?
Let's Go Brandon.
No.
Mm-mm. Oh, you guys haven't heard that?
So last week there was a dude that was at a NASCAR event. He wins the NASCAR event. I guess his name is Brandon. And the crowd starts chanting and the reporter is like, oh, look, they're chanting your name. And she's like, they're saying, let's go Brandon. And then when you actually listen to it, everybody in the audience is saying, fuck Joe Biden.
Because they're on live TV. She's like,
so now,
let's go Brandon. So now it's
all over YouTube is whenever someone's saying, let's go Brandon, that's code for fuck Joe Biden. All because this news lady was like, hey, they're chanting your name right.
Yeah. They were like, she was getting, messages from the, the studio. Oh my God, do something. We can hear that. We can hear that. But yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Like somebody's made a remix out of it. Have made a song out of it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's blown up very quickly. 5 days.
Let's go, Brandon. I need to find that and send it to my friend Brandon.
That and Island Boy. That's what's been.
Island Boy. Okay.
I'm an island boy. Yeah, you gotta go buy it.
No,
I'm surprised you haven't seen it with how much you guys like how Dean loves TikTok. Dean, you haven't seen that?
Oh, I
haven't been on TikTok very much lately. I've been too busy with podcasting prep.
He's actually he's not at capacity of podcasts, but he's practically at capacity of podcasts.
Yeah, I'm about the only time I go on there is when I have to upload a new video for one of the podcasts. So, I mean, mostly lately it's been uploading stuff for Disputed because our next one is Dexter versus Hannibal. But uploading stuff for that. But yeah, I don't get on there very much anymore.
Yeah. So
Well, when I
you
was
have Google
gone
Island
too,
Boy
like,
is later. It's slap.
send it to him on TikTok too.
You said Dexter, and I was trying to think, what does Dexter's Laboratory have to do with Hamilton?
Dexter Morgan.
That's adorable.
You should have seen
It finally clicked. I was like, oh, never.
You should have seen he was so pensive. He was sitting there. I'm looking at him like, what is he thinking about? Oh, that's hilarious.
That's adorable.
That's a good one. And I'm waiting for you guys to do like Flintstones versus Jetsons.
Well, we have
Or
to.
New
There
Kids
needs to
on the
be.
Block,
There needs to be a premise, and we don't do real people. So, New Kids on the Block are real people.
No, that's debatable. I knew hubby was going to say that. I knew it. According
you
to
could
hubby,
do TV boy
Backstreet
bands
Boys
like
and NSYNC are
the
same
Monkees.
Well, no. So we've already got a plan to do a bracketed tournament with fake bands. So like Sex Bomb, Spinal Tap, A Mighty Wind, all those different, whether it's or the band from what it was, Almost Famous. So where it's it's based on, or either the movie is based on the fake band, or there happens to be a fake band and like Jesse and the Rippers.
That's prominent in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
So yeah,
He's like, we got this. I don't need your.
Right, that's why like he's always busy now. It feels like.
Yeah, the only thing I don't have is what our next one after this one's going to be, because we had a good premise, but the guy who so it was going to be Spawn versus John Constantine.
Oh,
which I think is a really good premise.
Yeah.
The problem is the guy who wants to do Spawn, his availability isn't the same as mine and Damon's. So. So we're gonna have to either postpone it or try to find find a different time. So I just have to find whatever our next one's gonna be. So, anywho, so yeah,
do some kind of like the best glow up. Like you've got Princess Leia to General Organa, or something like that. Someone who went from who had the best transformation across a series or something.
Or you should do Nancy Botwin versus Walter. Although Walter White.
I know Walter White. What's the next one?
I don't know Nancy Baldwin. Is that the
Botwin
Weeds?
from Weeds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Weeds. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never finished that series.
Did she kill anybody?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we only watched like half of the first season.
I definitely watched the first season. I don't know if I went past that.
It's so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, what's her name? She's cute
adorable.
as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, she is cute.
We kind of have the same
you
taste
made
in
me
women.
want to watch that show again. All she did was drink Starbucks.
I might watch that too. That was out at a time period where I wasn't watching TV regularly.
I was in uni.
I was a nanny.
But they do have part of the reason we're doing the Dexter thing is on November 7th, the new series kicks back off of Dexter.
Oh my god!
Since I didn't watch the last season, I'm excited to watch the next one.
Say that
They're
again.
bringing everything back. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh.
Well, I think
Again?
that everybody was so pissed off at the way Dexter ended, that they had to go back and fix it.
Well, can they do that with the 4400? Like, there's a whole bunch of TV shows.
The 4400's coming back?
No, I said, can they?
Oh,
actually, no, wait, no, there is
that would have
another
been
show
cool.
Like the 4400 that's coming back out. Actually,
They're going to bring Supernatural back for another 15 seasons.
My son would be thrilled.
Would you guys do a episode with like Batman versus Batman, like
probably not
Keaton versus?
We're staying away. We're trying to stay away from. Well, no, we're trying to stay away from superheroes. Period.
Oh yeah, okay.
Batman's not a superhero.
Well, there are so many universes.
In the comic world,
There are so many universes in the comic world. It's hard to pin everything down, and we don't know enough about comics to do that. So we're staying away from superheroes, comic book characters for the most part. We did.
But a discussion over who was the best Batman is absolutely relevant. That's just not a disputed thing, I think.
Yeah, but that's still, you're talking about who the best actor is in that case. So, like I said yesterday, that I think Robert Pattinson looks like a thumb with a cowl. I saw that preview and he looks bad.
Oh yeah, I'm not happy about that at all.
This is why I don't watch previews anymore.
Well, it's hard to miss it when you're watching football game and they play the preview.
Yeah, huh. That's why I don't watch football.
Anywho's.
Another reason.
Oh, all right. Should we start talking about, the episode or something? I'm really excited to be back. I know that when I'm not here, somehow it is only like a, short show. So
last week was plenty long.
Fantastic.
Yeah. MJ was feeling back to her fighting weight.
Yay! I love to hear that. Yeah. Last week I tried to listen in while y'all were recording, and it I think I was like a few seconds behind you guys, but it was just enough that it was making me a little nutty. So all right. Let me be able to eat it with my hair not in the way. All right. All right. So this is the story of Lando Freeman, season 3, episode 10 already. Wow. Okay. So we begin our story at the Freeman house. Robert opens the door to see the front yard is completely overgrown. Obviously upset, he pulls out his phone and makes a call. Ruckus answers. When Robert asks him why he hasn't been over to do his lawn, he tells him that it's because some white folks hired him, and that even though they don't pay him as much, it's better to have white folks on your resume. I love that. It was so very Ruckus. The thing that he said at the end was, I'll be there when the white folks don't need me. That is so like the epitome of everything that is Uncle Ruckus. I'll be there for you, friend, when the white folks don't want me first. So Robert walks up to the boys' room and is ranting about Ruckus. He tells Huey to go put on some work clothes and cut the grass. When Huey asks why he always has to do it, Riley begins fake sneezing. Robert says that Riley has allergies, obviously. And after Granddad leaves the room, Riley starts giggling at Huey and says, "You're just mad because you didn't think of it first," which is 100% true. So Huey kicks him in the chest. I love the outsized reactions in this one. Kicks him in the chest, throws a book at his face. The doorbell rings as Robert is admonishing Huey to hurry up. Admonishing Huey to hurry up. Okay. He opens the front door and is greeted by a man who offers Robert a great deal on his landscaping services for cheap. Robert says that he's not interested, but Huey wants to hear about it. He tells him that he can offer better services than Ruckus. Robert declines. The man tells him that because he wants to do business so badly that he's already put some work in. Robert runs out to see how immaculate everything looks. He and Huey are both completely surprised. I love the shrubbery art. What kind of bird do you think that was? Yeah, that makes sense. Dean says a tit. So Robert invites him in and tells him how impressed he is with him. Robert pays him. He's so grateful that he invites Robert out to the strip club on him. Now, one thing I noticed about this scene that I just had to point out was that not only did Granddad give him cash when he was basically like, no, I don't actually need it. I just wanted the OJ, but he gave him the good OJ. Did y'all see that? Yeah. Right up front, he was like, I'm going to give you more money than you asked for, and here's the good OJ. So Granddad was into him. So they're sitting down at the House of Cheeks watching the dancers. Robert is so excited to be able to go to a strip club with someone. He asks the man for his name. He says that it's Lando. He tells Robert that Lando is what his mom said that his dad's name was, but that he never knew him. Robert says that he used to go by Lando back in Chicago in 1980.
I remember this one girl. Her name was Marietta. Oh, she was hot. It was like I was doing it with the same caliber of women as Billy D himself.
Mom's is a big Billy D fan.
In the day, we were going to see Empire Strikes Back. And at night, we had some serious no-hold-barred, tricky-dicky bad action. Woo!
For real?
You have to understand, this was in the day before AIDS. There was no consequence whatsoever.
That's so funny. Moms used to say the same thing.
It was just like bang, 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 bang. I always wondered what happened to her. I guess I'll never know. Gone for good. I would never, ever in a million years know what happened to her. Oh, well.
Oh,
well. So, not right now. Like, what do you mean? How do you not catch on to it?
Oh, my God. So, yeah. So, watching that, like, I even turned to Dean and I was like, do you think Granddad, like, already suspects? Because the way he's talking is like, nope, no consequences whatsoever.
Yeah. It was in the 80s. Before no.
Before AIDS. There was nothing else we had to worry about before AIDS.
Yeah, more. Actually, yes.
Also, in 1980, there already kind of was AIDS.
AIDS was absolutely out of the 80s.
Yeah,
that was because 76. It was supposedly came to the U.S. in the centennial, but
that's why the first swingers
Reagan
club
didn't
in New York
say
got
the
shut
word
down.
AIDS until like 1986 or something like that. But
he was in office.
I would say
even then,
AIDS was like going rampant in like 84 to late 80s.
It was big time. Yeah, I remember like it was shit. Anyway, yeah.
They just didn't know who they were going to blame it on yet. They didn't know anything about it.
Well,
So
no. And in the 80s, it was only being blamed on gay men. Only gay men.
Yeah.
Because that's how it probably, like, okay, for quite a long period of time, I was semi-obsessed with it. I don't know if you remember the movie or the book And the Band Played On. And it was basically all about the start of the AIDS epidemic. And I probably read that book like 15 times when I was in high school. That movie was something that to this day, like if I think of that stupid Elton John song, I start thinking about all of that. And also, you know, the whole Ryan White thing was, I was just a little bit younger than he was. And, you know, I don't know. It's just, I had a friend who was hemophiliac and would every once in a while would talk about how they were pretty sure one day they would get it.
Yeah,
like
it was such a big thing.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if people really were contracting it through blood transfusions, or if that was just an easy out.
No. There were children who were contracting it through blood transfusions.
Yeah. Other than children, I'm just saying because it.
There's no way to tell beyond that. Yeah. But, like the whole problem with it though is the way that it started. It was so easily transmissible only because of unprotected sex. It wasn't that it was men having unprotected sex. It was just there was more of a chance of transmission during unprotected anal sex because of injury that could possibly happen, right? Yeah. So when those same men were having sex with women, they were also transmitting it, but it wasn't. Women weren't getting. It wasn't being noticed as much. And like I don't know. It's terrifying if you think about like basically the media and the government was just like this is gay men's disease. Like literally called it. What was it? It was GRID.
Gay related and immunodeficiency disease or something like that.
So just like weed was only for Black people and Mexican people, and it was going to make us jump out of the windows, and it's whatever
all of it comes down to
they want to create.
Yep, it all comes down to what the rich white people think is happening, or who they can blame it on. And in this case, it took almost a decade of it running rampant before anybody really did anything about it, because it was seen as a gay man's disease, and
a drug
or a junkie, a drug user, intravenous drug user.
When Magic came out,
that is gay related immunodeficiency.
So
when Magic came out, I feel like that's when it was like, oh, wait,
right. When Ryan White was one of the big. Well, no, first. So let's see, who was it? Rock Hudson. Of course, that's kind of what outed him.
What's the other?
To be Liberace.
Yep, there you go. I don't know why I was about to say Cleopatra. I know his name. Cleopatra.
There was quite a few, and it was like Freddie Mercury, like
Arthur Ashe.
Arthur Ashe, that was a big one. But again, all of those are gay men, or at least suspected gay men, or bisexual men. And then there was a rich woman, a rich white woman who got it. I can't remember her name. And because of the publicity around her, and she was so pissed off that because she found out basically that there had been a test to detect it in blood, but nobody did anything about it because they thought it was a gay disease, so they didn't care about it. So then she got it, and she sued, and basically went public going, the government has known that this is here, and it's not just gay men getting it. I am not a gay man, neither is my husband. I got it from surgery. And then the Ryan White stuff, when all the people in his town tried to sue to get him kicked out of school because they were afraid that their kids would get AIDS by walking next to him. And
I hate to say it, but much like any other thing in our country, it doesn't become a problem until it starts affecting a certain part of our society.
Which I'm guessing is probably why he brought it up that way.
Yeah. So it's sad. It's interesting, but you also think about it, and it's like, wow, we're sitting here talking about it now, and there's people that are living regular lives.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, not only that, I don't know. Again, I have been paying a lot of attention to vaccination stuff in the last year and a half, like a lot of people. But I don't know if you guys knew this, but what's really fucking cool about all of the COVID-19 research is it actually it piggybacked off of a lot of research that's been being done on an HIV vaccine for the last 20-something years. And now, because of the breakthroughs of the COVID-19, like they're doing vaccine testing for HIV now. Like I have friends who are in clinical trials for this, and that's so like growing up
because it's another virus,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So it's now.
But it was something they couldn't crack until they had this money because of this massive plague and because of this influx of money and these breakthroughs. We might get to a point where HIV does not exist anymore.
Yeah.
And that's fucking amazing. Like that is something that's been happening for my entire life.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and just to think that, we're not that old. So just think that we may be able to eradicate something that was, definitely
something
plaguing.
Yes.
Yeah. And kind of eradicating certain communities now to be able to think and be like, that's not anything you have to worry about, anymore.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and hey guys, guess what else could be gone? COVID.
Yeah.
Everybody starts getting their vaccine. That's the difference. We'll keep going.
I didn't realize Isaac Asimov died from it because of transfusion during a heart procedure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just reading that on WebMD.
I did not know that one. Sci-fi writer. Yeah. I grew up reading a lot of his stuff.
God.
All right, so back to her. Anyway, for the record, most likely Granddad was aware that there was AIDS at the time, but it probably was just one of those whispered things that didn't affect him in his mind.
Yeah.
Which totally makes sense. Okay. So Lando finally tells Robert that he's really there because he thinks Robert is his real dad. Robert thinks that this is a con and leaves the strip club, leaving Lando behind. Back at the house, Robert is sitting at the table looking dejected. Huey tries to console him, but he's not having it. He tells Huey that no one is allowed to watch Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi in this house ever again. Robert is driving in the neighborhood and sees Lando working on the Dubois yard. He jumps out of the car and starts yelling at Lando. Lando says that he's just doing work for the Dubois. Just then, Tom pulls up and tells Lando what a great job he's doing and that he's going to tell everyone about him. Robert asks Lando what his game is.
My mother left a journal. She said she got pregnant by a man she loved very much whose nickname was Lando. And there was this. Man, I ain't come here to steal nothing from you, man. I just want to find my pops and tell him that I thank him for skeeting that life in the moms, man. I just want to tell him I love him very much and I respect him for everything he did, man.
I giggle every time.
I so want one of my boys to say that and be like, Dad, thank you for skeeting.
You were skeeting the life in a mom.
Yeah, that's great. Like I want that at like their graduation party.
Aww. You should do that. But you should do that when like when one of the kids gets married. I'm just gonna a toast to my son and a toast to my husband for skeeting that into me.
Yeah. Take this life into me. Yeah, my son will probably be like, because my oldest, the song that he says he's gonna play at his wedding is "Let's Get Married." You ain't getting no younger, girl. We might as well do it. And I'm like, that's not a good wedding song.
No.
Great wedding song.
So yeah, he will probably.
She wouldn't let me play it at my wedding.
What type of vocal is that? We ain't getting no younger, girl. We might as well do it. Like,
I wanted to come out to the reception to it.
Yeah. We would have been divorced before we got married.
We did.
I think my favorite one so far that I've seen live is "Let's Call the Whole Thing Off" as they were walking down the aisle.
Oh, we did "Signed, Sealed, Delivered." Yeah, I like that one. Little Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, that was good. Hubby was like, "We are not allowed to do."
It's our first dance.
The Black people Stevie Wonder song, wedding song. So there was no ribbon in the sky.
Yeah. I don't remember what our first.
It was on our plate.
Was that,
yeah,
no, Tina
like
sang at the wedding. What was our first fucking dance? Shit.
Ours was "If This World Were Mine." Very long song and dance, by the way.
I actually found a CD the other day from our wedding that our DJ had made us. So I put it in a box somewhere. So once we move, I'll be able to tell you what our first dance song was.
Yeah, and you might as well just go ahead and
it was
like
in a
frame
case,
that.
wasn't it?
Just go ahead and frame it.
Oh,
that's what I'm gonna do with our. Like, we're never going to have a CD player, so I feel like we should just go ahead and frame it.
Yeah. Well, I actually, I am taking. I gave most of my CDs away, funny enough, but I kept a bunch from my dad and Grace, and I'm going to use them actually as an art project.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I found a few things to experiment with, and if I can make it work, I think they will be really good material for the thing I have in mind. Yay! So that's one way to recycle it, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Here we go.
I know. Again, back. Yeah. Where was I? So Robert reiterates, excuse me, that he wants him gone. Robert pays a visit to Jin Rummy to ask him if he can get ask him to get rid of Lando. Jin asks him if he's trying to kill him. Like, basically, I say kill him. Robert says he just wants him gone, not dead. Jin says that if he can't kill him, the best thing to do is to get a DNA test to prove he's not the father. Robert asks him where he can get one. Rummy tells him that he knows a place where he can get it done for free. We are now on the stage of the Steve Wilkos show. Voiced by one of my favorite voice actors ever. But John DiMaggio. Thank you, baby. I'm terrible with names. John DiMaggio, who also did Bender and Jake the dog from Adventure Time. Anyway. So as Robert sits in his chair, Steve begins berating him.
What kind of man doesn't bother to see his kid for 30 years? 30 fucking years!
I didn't know.
You know what I want to do? I want to beat the living shit out of you!
Hey, easy there, big fella.
I will not be easy on you! I fucking hate you! You make me want to... Before the show, you took a DNA test. And the results of the DNA test are Robert is...
Back after these messages.
Right? And I was watching it. I was like, wait, what happened? Like, I was really watching Steve Wilkos.
Obviously, just like in real life on those paternity shows, they went to a commercial break. Finally, Steve reveals the results of the test. Robert is the father. Steve then berates Robert more for being a deadbeat. While all this is going on, Lando is super excited, and it just the one line that really cracked me up that I just wanted to say is he pointed at Robert and was like, "I came out of that tube right there."
Yeah.
Like, look at them nuts. I came out of those. He was so excited about knowing whose dick he came out of that I had to point that out.
That was funny.
So Steve Wilkos is berating Robert. Lando gets upset and punches Steve. And then back at the house, Robert is watching the Wilkos episode with the boys.
I hate to say this, Granddad, but you did look like a pussy punk bitch. You should have stuck with your story.
It was a DNA test.
We'll study next time.
I like that. Thank you for leaving the smack in there. I think that was when he threw the book at him, right? Hits him with a book, yeah. That was probably my favorite joke, actually, in the whole episode. Study next time. Huey tries to console Granddad and tells him that he thinks Lando just wants a chance to get to know his dad. Riley, of course, thinks Granddad should have just stuck to his story. Then Ruckus shows up with balloons to congratulate Robert on his new 198-pound baby boy, like in our opening clip. Then Tom shows up.
You know, Robert, any boy can make a baby, but it takes a real man.
Shut the fuck up. I'm sick of this shit.
Robert slams the door on both of them. I find it really funny that like the first one with Ruckus, it's obviously funny because he's like, yeah, another Negro in the world that you brought into with the it's a boy thing. But the way that Tom reacted, as if somehow Granddad purposely got this one pregnant and then left her, like, any boy can get a woman pregnant. that poor man. Tom, shut the fuck up. Back over at Gin Rummy's, Robert is looking for advice on what to do now. Rummy tells him that he can either work it out with Lando, which he does not recommend, or kill him. Robert does not want him dead. Even though he's against it, Rummy brings Lando in from working in his yard to talk to Robert, all the while holding a gun to the back of Lando's head.
Look, man, I'm sorry about what happened on that show. I mean, I ain't know that nigga Steve Wilkos was a dick like that. I swear I don't need nothing from you, man, except a chance to be maybe a small part of your life, man. Just a small. Thank you, Rummy, man. I appreciate you giving of yourself to help sort this thing out.
Robert emphatically states that he wants to work things out.
Yeah, boy. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I always... Man, look, man, I swear, man, once you get to know a nigga, you'll find I ain't even that fucked up.
Ain't even that fucked up. Good.
Hey, Linz, I know there was something you wanted to say about this. Or at least the earlier one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think so. I mean, my theme with these clips, though, more so from the son towards Robert is y'all listen. And I know I'm going to annoy a lot of people with this opinion, but this is the way I was raised. And my dad was in my life, but I've said many times on this podcast, he was not a dad. And he kind of showed back up in my life when he sobered up and kind of kicked the pipe. But like my mom raised me to be like, yo, listen, I don't care if you grow up and I disapprove of how you choose to live your life. You need to tell me to fuck off. And that's sort of like why I kind of always, I don't want to be unempathetic, but when people kind of my age in their 30s and stuff are talking about their dad issues, and I understand dad issues are real. Yeah, but I kind of,
Get over it.
Yes. Sad. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be insensitive, but that is what it is. Okay. Like you got to let that shit go. Like, yeah, your DNA is important. Yes, your family does color aspects of you to an extent, but that shit does not define you unless you let that shit define you. So like, to me, it's just strange to kind of like approach this nigga, which I know we kind of will get to this later on, but you're going to approach this dude like, oh, I'll be such a good son. I'm not even that fun. It's like groveling. Love me, love me, love me. Y'all, if my dad didn't make the effort to be in my life as an adult, and he did make the effort to be in all of my siblings' lives as well. My siblings just were like, nah, dude, we're good. You know, we made it through without you. But if he didn't make that effort, he could have eaten several dicks. I wouldn't have given a fuck, you know, but I mean, that's me. I'm not trying to shame you guys who it matters to.
No, I'm the same way. I mean, my father and I don't have the best relationship at all. And I got to the point of saying, you know, that's for him to have to deal with, you know, and I don't want to be like morbid, but when he, you know, was on his last, that's for him to have to like reconcile with. It's not, you know, for me to.
Absolutely.
And I also feel like, you know, I was telling somebody the other day, I've extended the olive branch, and I just feel like at some point in time, it's still a parent-child relationship or dynamic. So even though I'm hella grown, I would think that the parent has some responsibility to, you know, to try to keep it good. But then again, you know, they're just human beings. So you can't fault them, you know, for doing what's innate to them. You know, my dad's hella old. I don't expect him to change right now. Like he's hella old. I mean, not hella old, but hella old. Too old to be trying to change it. Or feeling like he needs to, you know, so that's when it becomes your decision to either let it define you or for you to not, and for you to live the best life that you can.
I can understand that. I can also, from the point of view of a sibling who found a sibling as an adult, my mom's first child was taken away from her without her consent and adopted out because that's the way things were done back then with unmarried women. And so like my sister found us basically through social media, between social media and tracking down a nurse that actually remembered that interaction somehow 50 something fucking years ago. I know it was crazy the way that it all worked out. But, you know, for Cheryl, she was very happy with the family that raised her. That is her mom and dad. She loves them very much. She lives near them now and they love their grandchild and their great-grandchild. But she's also really excited to have her birth mom and to have my mom know her child and grandchild and to know me and my family and to have known Grace. And so, like, for her, it was a privilege of, like, she's probably never going to find her birth dad. It was a fling when my mom was 17 and she's in her 70s. So most likely this man is not out there somewhere. You know, we're not going to find him.
Yeah.
And that's not something that, like, breaks her heart or anything, but it's like one of those things that she always wonders, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't blame that at all.
Her, like you said, she lived a very, full life and loved her family and all that.
She had a family. We didn't complete her. We just were a puzzle piece to her past that she didn't know.
But somebody like Lando, he didn't have his mother anymore.
Yeah. Right.
So I get that. And I think that.
And also the exploitation of.
Yeah. And I think once you get to a certain age as a man, like, you want that kind of relationship where you can, maybe go and run your situation or, talk to your
or you want to be better than what you had. Yeah. Robert brings Lando back to the house and invites him to live there. Puts him in the same room with Huey and Riley, and basically with a cot in between the boys' beds. Riley lays down the law right away, basically letting him know that he's still the third because Riley was number 2. He doesn't get to, like, just because he's older doesn't mean that he gets to have more, seniority. Mm-hmm. One of the things that, like, Lando was basically talking about how excited he was for all of this. And one of the things that Huey said really kind of stuck with me. I didn't get it as a quote, but it was, I've been part of this family my whole life and it's an overrated experience. That's so perfectly Huey right there. He's like, no, it's not that exciting. Can you please just not?
Right. He's just always so done. Like, I feel like he's always like, okay, it is what it is. I'm here for the time being.
Yep. So that night, sleeping between the boys' beds, Lando is sound asleep, snoring loudly. The boys try to drown out the noise as best they can. The next morning, Robert and the boys are at the breakfast table when Lando walks down to the kitchen with an extreme case of morning wood. They're all disgusted and leave the table. Which, by the way, holy crap.
Ringing. I mean, that was like, woo. Like, I expected Grandpa to be like, yeah, that's my son or something like that. But no,
I actually was kind of surprised that they didn't do one of those kind of like,
yeah, bang, 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 bang.
Right, because that was how they had, anyway. Yeah. So later, Lando and Riley are playing basketball. Lando is talking smack, runs over Riley on his way to attempt a slam dunk, which he misses. Riley, upset, tells Lando that it's basketball, not football. They then get into a fight where they break through the window in the front room of the house. Riley asks Huey for help, but Huey stays out of it. Riley bites Lando, forcing him to release him. Then he jumps off the couch and slams Lando to the floor and pins him there. So Riley finally won a fight on his own, no help. I think that was the first one, right? Yeah. Dean says yes.
I think he let him. As the big little brother.
Right, maybe. I don't know. Robert and the boys are sitting in the living room when Granddad states that they all seem cramped in the one bedroom and he's thinking of giving Lando his own room. Riley is immediately upset because Lando already gets to drink and smoke. with cigarettes. Just then, Lando walks in and asks what's going on. Granddad tells him that he's going to have to make some changes and that he's no longer allowed to smoke or drink at the house because it sets a bad example for the boys. Lando flips out and has a tantrum, runs off, and then comes right back to apologize, telling Robert that he didn't mean any of it and he definitely needs the tough love. Says he's going to take himself upstairs and get ready for an ass whooping. Lando and Riley are back playing basketball again. Lando leaps to slam dunk over Riley, knocking him over. He immediately starts smack talking Riley.
Ha! Game, bitch! Who's the number 2 nigga now, nigga?
Nigga, you 7 feet tall bragging about beating a little kid. Your game is garbage and you cheat.
That's how it's a fair match, nigga. I'm 7 feet garbage and you 3 feet nice.
Aight, that's true. New game, nigga.
How to get on Riley's side 101. Right there. Yeah. I'm a smack talk you. Oh no, man, I'm just smack talking you because you're awesome.
and like that's the only person that he may be able to play some,
right?
Maybe. Yeah.
And I love that one too, because literally Riley's like, you suck. You're 7 feet tall and you can't even play. And dude's like, yeah, but you're 3 feet and you're awesome. So it's an even match. And just Riley's just like, yeah, cool. New game.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm cool with that. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. And they're like right there later when Riley laments about bonding time. Like that was the bonding moment right there for Riley. Dude said that he was a good basketball player. Okay, we could be friends. So, as Ruckus is driving through the neighborhood, he sees all of the well-manicured lawns with Landscapes by Lando signs on them. The more he drives, the more upset he gets. Finally, he sees Lando outside the Freeman house doing some yard work. He gets out to confront Lando, but Lando isn't having any of it and tells Ruckus that it's a free market. Robert then walks out and gives Ruckus grief for not keeping his appointments. Ruckus tries to fight with Lando, but Robert jumps in between them, telling Ruckus that he brought it upon himself and that he fully supports Lando. Lando is very happy. One of the things that he says after Ruckus kind of runs away is, first time in my life, I know the meaning of family. To him, somebody supporting him and kind of like sticking up for him finally means family to him. Lando comes downstairs to hang out with Huey. He's so happy to have his beautiful black family. He tries to convince Huey that he's smiling on the inside, but Huey has no reaction. Robert calls the family to get ready for dinner. Lando and the boys are watching the Steve Wilkos show, much to Granddad's displeasure. As they watch, they see that another man is told that he's the father of a baby. The man, Hakeem, is a very dark black man, and the woman and her baby are very pale white, blonde hair, and blue eyes. The credits for the show start to run, and Huey and Lando pause it. In the credits are a disclaimer that the show reserves the right to falsify the results of a DNA test, and that if guests want to get the real DNA test, they can request it from the show. Huey calls them and finds out that Robert is not Lando's father.
Slow down, Playboy. You don't have to say nothing, really. Huey, Riley, what can I say, man? Nigga really appreciate y'all for opening up y'all home to, you know what I'm talking about? But if we ain't family, what we doing this for? I mean, I ain't gotta be sharing no room with two little boys, you know? I ain't on no King of Pop shit, you know what I'm talking about? I'll just beat it.
That was kind of a heartbreaking thing, because it's like he's like, oh, okay, I was wrong. Okay, well, I'm gonna be cool. Like he's totally putting on that, like the air of everything's fine, everything's cool.
Yeah. I feel like it just goes right back into what I was talking about before, about how this shit does not define you, y'all. I'm sorry. I know some of my family thinks I'm a cold motherfucker, but blood is blood. And I'm close to most of my family. Like we did grow up together. Like they call, I'm there. But listen, my family's also huge. I think I have like 40 something cousins in California. I just moved here. I don't know you. I don't know these people. And I was going to say, I don't know these niggas, but they are all different races, ethnicities. I don't know these people. I just see them on Ancestry. But like, how is it that, okay, you just had that whole scene with Ruckus and like, you know, oh, Robert had his back, Lando's back. And, you know, oh my God, like that's family and this and that. Oh, we're not related. Fuck this noise.
Right.
That's how fake and pretentious this whole fucking bullshit is. Family can fuck you over and non-family can fuck you over. And family can have your back and non-family can have your back. So it's a bunch of bullshit.
I 100% agree with you on that. I think that I might have had a different point of view at the time that this episode came out. But like where I am in my life right now, my people, my family are not necessarily related to me by blood. Like I still have my mom and that's amazing and I love it. But most of the people that I consider the closest to me are not related by blood, but I still call them my people and my family. Yeah. But I think like say 10, 15 years ago, I might have felt a little differently about that, even though I was a lot less settled in my relationship with my dad and the past that we had. I had a lot harder time communicating with my mother and we barely talked, and like, I still probably would have had a different definition about it. Like you too, I'm looking at Dean and saying you too, because right now, you know, he's having to deal with the repercussions of choosing his mental health over.
I've cut off my parents, both of them, even though they're not together. So fuck them.
But yeah, So he's processing all the emotions around that, but also being very strong in knowing that the people who do care about him and who do support him are all around him, just not related by blood. So
Yeah, that's what you have to do. I mean, unfortunately, family, it can be very toxic, and it's because they think that they're allowed to because of blood.
Exactly,
and that,
right there.
That I don't know what book you guys read or whatever. Like that doesn't make any sense. Don't tell me as I'm growing up to not allow people to, take my energy or allow me to, slip out of character or whatever it may be. But then you're the main one that does it. So I can definitely relate to that. I mean, especially over the time being with hubby and how all of, our friends from college and stuff mean a lot to me. And, and I think it's because they, I met them and they came around at a time when I was really, still kind of developing or starting to develop who I was, and learning that people appreciated and took me for who I was, flaws and everything else.
The niggas high.
So I, that's why to me, and that's why they were, talking all that shit last week. I'm like, well, I'll be that. Okay. I'll be that hater if you guys say it, but that's because I love you guys and I don't want, I don't want to see anything bad happen to you. So it's polarizing. And as we get older, it becomes more and more prevalent. I feel that's just where we have to then take the reins to be like, you know what? I'm okay with whatever decision I make because it's best for me.
Yeah. And there's also kind of this, at least in the experiences that we're having here, there's a difference between toxic family that is trying to work on it and toxic family that doesn't see their own toxicity. Like in the case of Dean's family, they don't know what, or they don't quote unquote know what they did wrong. But yet they're not even attempting to reach out. They just will tell other people how disappointed they are that Dean is not doing anything to fix anything, but they're not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
So, and he was the one that tried for years to continue having a relationship with them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I completely with them there, and it just becomes exhausting.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to the life that you've created for yourself and the one that you're currently in.
Yeah. And my dad and I were like that until he made a conscious decision to work on the relationship between us. And we were working on it. And it was good because we were both working on it. And we were both meeting in the middle instead of, digging in heels somehow over some perceived notion of having to have a relationship.
I mean, it didn't tear down just by one party, so it should be an effort by all involved.
Sometimes it is
like
one
I said,
party.
I just think that when people get older, like I tell my boys, don't let me be like that. I don't know what it is about when they get older that it's just like they don't feel like they have to try anymore, or that it's not on them, it's on everybody else. And it's like, what's the common denominator? You. So then maybe it's not me. So it's just it becomes your responsibility to take control over your own well-being. And that's that's what happens. Sometimes people gotta go.
Yeah. So that right after that clip was when Riley was, did we do all that bonding for nothing? And honestly, I think Granddad was about to say, no, I still, feel
say, yeah.
But because of Lando's reaction to that, it kind of was just like, oh, okay, he's just leaving. He's leaving now.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
I wasn't attached anyway. I gave it a try, like I said.
Right. Right. Like
I think
low key
was
disappointed, but also overt. Like no. I mean. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Huey didn't show any emotions, but I think Riley was really like, oh man.
Yeah, Riley. I think, like I said, with that last basketball game, he was like, oh man, I actually liked him.
Yeah.
He was a brother that was like him because him and Huey are opposites. So
right.
This one
was when he could understand
and hustled and stuff like that.
Yep. They could be more peer like than Riley and Huey could.
Mm-hmm.
So as he's walking out, Lando tells Robert and the boys that he was really happy to have the chance to know them. After Lando's gone, a car pulls up. door opens and out steps Billy D. Williams. He says that Lando is actually his son and he was hoping to find him. They point him in the direction that Lando went and he heads out. Riley ends the show talking about how cool it would be to be related to Billy D. Williams because he's way cooler than Granddad.
He's Granddad.
And that is the end of this episode. So, anything else in there that didn't get mentioned? I mean, I had one little tiny one. Well, not tiny, but like when Ruckus was starting the fight with Lando, and he was talking about the wavy-haired jigaboo that put his paws on Princess Leia. I think that was just it. Again, every time Ruckus is on the screen, you are like shocked at what comes out of his mouth, but also like, oh yeah, I can totally.
That's Ruckus.
Yeah, that's Ruckus.
Yeah. That's part for the course with him. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the last. That's all I have. Anybody got anything else?
Yep.
All right, I think we're good. So I think we're ready for our next question.
Welcome to Stupid White People Questions.
You mean I'm gonna stay this color?
Good evening. Real quick before I get into this, I did want to say that this was the first trivia wise. This is the only episode in which Jin Remy appears without Ed the Third. And apparently the voice of Lando is played by Slink Johnson, who's also the voice of Lamar Davis in Grand Theft Auto 5. So there you go.
Like Jesus.
So yeah, Billy D. Williams was himself in the show. Yeah, and then Steve Wilkos by John DiMaggio, who was Jake the dog. He was the commander in the Halo series. I think it's
I just tell people Bender.
Something like
Most
that.
people
And
know
Bender
from Futurama.
Yeah, Bender, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, that guy. Really cool guy in real
bite
life.
my shiny metal ass. Anyway, and I'm sure you've all heard this before because I know I've heard it a bunch. Why are there so many absent black fathers?
Okay, so easy answer. You put them in prison for marijuana.
That part. That's one of the reasons.
That's a big reason.
Yeah.
It's not the only reason, but it's the big reason.
It's all relative because you can say that there is a huge, absentee father percentage in Latin households.
Mm-hmm.
You could say the same thing in any household.
Any household.
Let's be real.
And even more so, that's a stereotype that is old and they. I don't think that's now because I know a lot of kids that are active not only in their life but they're still with their mom or whatever.
The CDC put out a study a couple of years back that showed that that's false. I mean, at least at this point in time, that and I think the confusion comes from not being married.
Mm-hmm.
Does not mean that you're not part of your children's lives, and actually that black fathers are 70% of black fathers are in their children's life, whereas white fathers it's 60%.
So the reality is that white fathers are more absent than black fathers. Amazing how real statistics
work. The time that they're not around their children, that's what it is.
Granted, this was from the CDC, and I know a lot of people, in quotes, people don't believe the CDC, but fuck those people.
Right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is, again, the stereotypes really did start when mass incarceration started, and that is a big reason why there is a deficit of entire generation of black men, because that's what they did to them. But also, you have to think, like, for example, I know I keep using my own family as an example, but like Dean wasn't with his ex, but was very much in his kid's life. but he didn't live there. So does some kind of census information say, well, he didn't live there, so therefore he's not part of his life? Or are they judging it on actual like involvement? Because how would they fucking know? Like,
I mean, well, just like Trump says, Black people walk to the store every day and get shot at. So,
yeah,
it's just this whole idea. It's just this narrative. And what's so sad is that, certain parts of America, because they don't have access to reality or the truth, they believe it.
I think what you said earlier has a lot to do with also you try to do better than what your parents did do that came before you, and that high incarceration time and the crack epidemic, that would be the generation for me. So I feel like there's a lot of Black men that are more like me, where it's more of a conscious effort to be involved and to, work it, not necessarily work out with the mom, but work out a situation where you can still be involved in your kid's life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there were so many fathers that weren't there for whatever the reason.
Yeah, and a lot of this, and I think this really stemmed from Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
He's the one who was touting that shit back in the mid '90s, I think it was, that he was going on stage and talking that shit, and it was just all false. And even if if you think about it this way, also with the incarceration rates being what they are for Black folks, imagine how much more than that 70%. It would be.
Yeah.
So, and studies since the CDC study has shown that it's increased. So there's that.
There is an entire generation of people who are hearing those stereotypes and saying, fuck you, this is me.
Yeah.
And this is what life is like now. And you can keep that bullshit over there where you think it is. Because, they're still using fucking words like welfare queens and shit like that.
Yeah.
That shit is so fucking old. And they can't get over it, because if they get over it, they have to admit that times are changing and that ideas are changing and social mores are changing. And it's, yeah.
I think the being more acceptance over, interracial relationships definitely helps that as well. Because that's probably where you saw more of it, your daughter came home and told you that she was pregnant by the Black football player or, the quarterback and didn't work out because the parents were assholes to him or whatever else. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that go into it. It's not just simply cut and dry that Black fathers are like, oh, I squirted my seed or sprayed my seed in. Now I'm
skeeted.
Now I'm good.
That's it. Skeeted life into him.
Yeah.
Like 2 days ago, I had to spend my whole prep period talking to a student who was having some real bad thoughts of doing himself. But I'm just saying that to say that if you are a dad that's not in your kid's life, where you go back and forth, no matter what your race is, you should really try to change that, because the option of trying to let the environment raise a man instead of you raising a man, the outcome is not good. And the thoughts that's going through these kids' heads nowadays is not good. And the access that they have to weed and other drugs, that just, when your brain is still developing, it doesn't help you get necessarily clear thoughts. I was having a very serious conversation for like an hour, and sad, and it was all because the dude's dad just popped up out of nowhere because he had just caught a felony the night before, and it's like, dude, why don't you stay around and not just bounce back and forth? And this part, at least, will be happy.
I've had a few of
And it
those
plays a lot
conversations.
into those individuals not knowing who they are and what their purpose is. So you can't turn around and be, be an example and be a father or a parent to somebody when you're not even sure about what you're doing in life. So that goes back to what Lindsay said. Be accountable. Like want to have better for yourself. Want to figure out why you do the way that why you do the things the way that you do. It's I feel like it's simple. But of course, we know that life isn't that simple.
Yeah.
But when you put the effort into it, it can be. So it could be easier.
And what it comes down to really is people's perceptions of other people, and using those perceptions to try and govern each other without actually like knowing the underlying, like it it's same with like policing and with almost anything. Like if you don't actually know what goes into what's wrong, you can't fix it by doing something on top of it. So like you've got a kid who gets a girl pregnant and then leaves because they are not ready to be a parent.
Yeah.
This girl still has to, grow up one way or another, whether she's making the choice to get rid of the baby, making the choice to have the baby and give it away, or to raise the baby. She has to grow up in that moment. Whereas the male partner, the sperm provider, doesn't have to do that. So,
because you don't have that connection, whether they want to or not. Especially if you're a minor and you have, the dissension between the parents and this and that, and then the parents being stressed out, like, okay, well, now I have to raise another child, and so all that kind of plays into it.
And then that child grows up with that feeling of, well, they were a piece of shit, or they weren't good enough, or something I did. I was the reason why, and those internalized things will go on and circle and circle. And I had, very similar to your hubby, I had a student who now has a pretty decent relationship with dad, and it's getting better every day. But like in the time when I was his teacher, for the 3 years that I was his teacher, we started with there being a protection order against this dad. And we ended with he would go and visit dad every other weekend and come back suicidal and, so, but now now we have progressed to a point where he actually spends time with his dad and things are happy, which is great. But that's because dad had to put fucking effort into it.
Yeah.
And mom had to put fucking effort into it. And they had to work together to put effort into it. Like there are so many things that go into it.
You having somebody in your life that will hold you accountable and tell you, like, look, listen up. This is why shit's so fucked up. And I don't think there's enough people that will do that. For example, I know that like any like hubby's frat brothers and stuff, like they've definitely taken time. Like I'm older than most of them, and sometimes they talk to me like I'm their little sister. But it comes from love. So when it can be, delivered in a way where it's like, look, let's work this out together, but also holding somebody accountable, that works. That does wonders. When somebody is like when you have an addict, and what is that called? Yes, when they have the person that makes excuses for them, or like
enabler.
Yes.
Yep.
So instead of people being an enabler, or people just not caring enough because it's not their kid, it's not their issue.
Mm-hmm.
Which goes back to people being communal and caring about each other, which we know it's not a common thing anymore. So
we were somewhere recently. We heard a saying, and that makes a lot of sense, and not enough people do it. It wasn't in this context. I think it was more in terms of somebody like trying to pick up somebody they shouldn't have picked up. But anyway, it was friends tell friends no. It's like sometimes you gotta tell, like, no, you're wrong for doing that. No, you shouldn't have did that. I got your back. I still love you, but your kid needs you right now. And,
real friends will tell you when you're being an asshole.
Yeah,
absolutely. I count on that shit because I know I'm an asshole more than I get called out.
Yeah, don't call yourself my friend if you can't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the big bad wolf. Like, I feel like you should be able to be like, look, you're fucking up right now, or I'm worried about you, or, just something. If not, then don't call yourself a friend or acquaintance or anything like that, because you're just another person.
Yep.
Might as well just walk by them.
Yep. All right. Well, on that note, I would like to send a shout out to Demond, because he saves my ass every time I want to take a day off. And he's awesome. Right? Yes, thank you. And I really appreciate you guys, putting up with the fact that I haven't been here in a couple of weeks, and then I come in here and I just talk your ass off forever. And I missed you.
Oh, wait, one thing before we go.
Yes.
I almost forgot. So I have been tracking my podcast, and I just found out that my podcast was number 148 in the country.
Ooh.
On the Apple charts.
Fuck yeah.
So
overall or in a particular category?
It was in entertainment.
Right on.
And self-love, self-help, and wellness.
Very cool.
Health and wellness. But I also added the Boondocks, and I got an email today. Hold on one sec. Letting you guys know where we are. A second, I have way too many emails.
What are you tracking it on?
Pod. Hold on, I'll show you right now. Pod charts is where I'm following it. So we are number 144 in Italy in after shows.
That's awesome.
Number 34 in Nigeria for after shows. Number 135 in the Netherlands. Number 17 in Tanzania.
I love all of the African countries. All of my African listeners, please reach out to us on social media. I want to hear about your lives and what resonates with you.
The bulk of our followers on our Facebook, are from Africa.
Yeah. Well, number 74 in Africa, in South Africa.
That is so cool.
So it comes out every day. So this was what I got. Whenever you break within the top 200.
Yeah,
or below the 200, then they'll send you the information.
Yeah, I follow Unchartable. And on Chartable, we are number 138 in the Netherlands. I show this one is 70 current. This is current. I'm looking at Chartable. 73 in South Africa, 238 in Denmark. So,
hello, Denmark.
Kind of close, about the same. But yeah, I saw that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta share it with them. So
I wonder how close numbers.
Our global reach for over all podcasts were 8,066. Which is, I mean, considering that there's like 500,000 ish podcasts that are active in the US. 5,971.
I got the email saying I was 148 and almost like shit myself. I was like, what? Whoa.
That's awesome.
Because when you realize how many podcasts are out there, I was like, whoa. So shout out to all of us. So just have to share.
Yeah, I like Letterkenny. I like that Letterkenny is so big that we haven't put out an episode in so long, and we're still
we haven't put it out like a year. It feels like.
Well, we're not. We're
out
of ranking in the U.S., but in Great Britain we're 194, Canada 182, and New Zealand 130.
I'm not surprised about the Canada one because it's more and more people. It's like steamrolling. I'm a little surprised about US, but I've been noticing on like Produce Stand watching their stuff. Mm-hmm. It seems like they have mostly Canadian people that are starting to like steamroll on them.
Yeah.
So that would be my assumption with us too.
Yeah.
It's becoming more of a thing across the both countries.
Just waiting for Disputed to take off.
Linz, you got anything you want to shout out?
I don't.
Right. Anything else there, MJ?
I don't believe so. If I don't remember, I'll just add it onto the list.
But by the way, Moxie, I believe probably I think what she's wanting to do with you, as far as because I know that you guys have been trying to get connected. I think what she's looking for is she is a voiceover person. And she's really good at it. As far as she's really trying to like get into medical jargon and things like that because she's really, really good at it. And I mean, and I know cannabis has some weird words that are in there, and she's just really good at doing them. And
cannabinoids.
So she's really interested in trying to get involved in doing voice work, whether it's commercials or whatever.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to assume. I hit her back and I was like, in what capacity?
I think that's
immediately what I was thinking is helping maybe content creators. And doing their voiceovers. A lot of cultivators and things like that, like they don't think with that side of their brain. They're not creative in that way. And a lot of them could probably increase their brand awareness if they did, utilize it a little better. So I'm we definitely I hit her back. So
Moxie's an interesting person. I mean, she's
on my schedule.
Yeah, former burlesque dancer, has done a TED Talk as an author. So she's a very interesting person. We interviewed her on Podskier about a month ago now, I think, and she was a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking for somebody that's for a guest. So from other podcasts. So you may just help me out.
Right on. Yeah, she's lots of fun. Yeah, you should go check out our Podskier episode that we did with her.
Hopefully.
All right. Well.
All right. Happy Halloween. I know this episode will come out after Halloween comes out, but Blessed Samhain.
Happy All Saints Day. That's when it'll be out.
El Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, that.
All right. Feliz Dia de los Muertos. I used to be able to say it so much more fluently. Feliz Dia de los Muertos.
First day of winter too, isn't it?
Not yet.
No.
That's December.
Yeah, December.
The solstice is around the 21st, something like that.
So it's fall.
Yes, it is autumn officially. Yeah. And time change. Doesn't time change happen usually around Halloween?
I think it does happen this weekend.
That's probably what you're thinking. I only remember because working in bars for most of my 20s, how, on the time change days, we would have to argue with people about what time it was.
Well, we work at the bank and we work in the call center. So please believe, we would be like, oh, time to go. And then people would be calling in, I got another hour, the time change. And we're like,
no.
Shit.
I hated those days.
Yeah, unblock my card. And we're like, God damn it. So yeah, that kind of shit. But
all right. I hope everybody has a fantastic week and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Love ya.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I need you to get the hell up out of here.
Hey, thanks for joining us again as we make our way through the trials and tribulations of the Freeman family. We hope to see you back again next time for lovely Ebony Brown.
Want to know where to find us on the social medias or where to subscribe to the podcast? Just head right over to www.theboondockspod.com/links.
Have a stupid white people question you want to leave us? Email us at host@theboondockspod.com or leave us a voicemail at 760-933-8636. That's 760-we-3-undo.
Shout out to the artists who've created our intro and outro tunes. Our intro is #MakeAChange by KIRK. You can find them on Spotify, iTunes, and Tidal. Our outro is Good Times by Audio Binger. You can find them on freemusicarchive.org and YouTube.